Taking a chance to learn what's in my head and reel out the thoughts that fill me with dread. You die for me when I won't even cry for you. Oh, please, Lord, tell me what must I do? Taking out a page each day from the letter you wrote to me. A book of lies that I despise, but with your animosity. Take me back to a time we met on that bank holiday. We made it right from the first night till you threw it all away. Would you dance to make my grave when I'm gone? Or see me for that man that I've become? Would I see that you care when I'm in need of you the most? But you don't care. You're not there anymore. Confusion is a gift that forever falls my own way. I'll never be so proud of that man I am today. Take me back to a time of our once happy days. Still you seem to forever haunt me with your condescending ways. Now it's time to do things right and get you out of my head and reel out the thoughts that fill me with dread. Would you dance to make my grave when I'm gone? Or see me for that man that I've become? Or would I see that you care when I'm in need of you the most? But you don't care. You're not there anymore. And the pain you've caused fell from afar, and the message that you portrayed it caused me too much sorrow and pain, but I won't fall for that anymore. Would you dance to make my grave when I'm gone? Or see me for that man that I've become? Would I see that you care when I'm needing you the most? But you don't care. You're not there anymore.
Yes, guys. Welcome back to another stream, man. We've got a Premier League show for you today, the title race show. Although I'm not sure why I'm on it, and I'm not sure why Dan's on it. It's a shameless, isn't it, bro? I definitely need to rename the stream from title race show. We have got Potsy coming. He's just on the phone to be here with us a second. And Rom's is coming as well, as always. His meeting is finishing now, so he should be here in the next couple of minutes as well. Make sure you smash the likes on the way in. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you are new. But where I want to start the show is I want to get the lad's opinion. Obviously, we'll start with Dan, given that he's here.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit weird. All right, Potsy, give me your opinion on City, bro. On City, and sort of like your views on City at the moment. Obviously, we're outside the top 4, outside the top 5, which is obviously the Champions League spots. But from my point of view, I want to hear your views on this. I think there's signs of life with Manchester City. Yeah, what are you saying about City at the moment? Do you still think we're trash, or do you think that we are starting to improve? And do you think we're going to get this Champions League spot?
Yeah, I think you'll get Champions League easily. I think you've had your blip now. I know you got a draw against Brentford, but you wouldn't be the first team to go to the G-Tech and not get a result this season. They've been really, really good there. I think you can see with players like Foden that something's coming back. When you say signs of life, you can see that he's playing with a smile on his face. He's scoring goals now. I think he's looking more like the player that we saw him become last season. I think there are other players in the team that are looking lively. Savio, I mean, with you guys playing a little bit more in transition and not being right up on top of the opposition's box all the time, he looks so dangerous. I mean, he is a fantastic runner with the ball. And I think you'll make additions in January. I still think you get Marmoush done. And I think if you bring him in, he would be obviously fantastic to have for the end sort of running as well. I think Manchester City not getting top 4 isn't even an issue at the moment. I think you get that with ease. But I think
top 4 or top 5, you reckon?
No, I think top 4. I think you will get top 4 comfortably, because if you look at how many points you can finish on, you'll still be well in the top 4 if you even lose 3 more games. I think 4 more games, you'd probably still be in there. So I think you'll get there absolutely fine. It's just you're. Do you know what it is? When I look at the table, I think about Nottingham Forest, and I think I don't know how long that run can continue. They've obviously drawn against Liverpool, which is still a fantastic result. But is it like a Leicester and the momentum just keeps going and they just keep getting better and better, or do they eventually start to blip? And then,
well, do you remember when West Ham did it a few years ago under Moyes? They was in the top 4 for ages, weren't they? Yeah. And then they just, because at some point, I'm still not hearing a lot of talk about Forest in the media. Yeah, because everyone just expects them to drop. At some point, the media are going to start hammering them big time. Oh my God, Forest are in the top 4. So are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And the pressure will just go through the fucking roof. And that's when they'll either do a Leicester style thing, and they probably won't win the league, but they'll finish top 4, or they'll massively drop out. I mean, I'm looking at this right now, right? So obviously, forget Liverpool, right? And to a certain degree, forget Arsenal, because I think at the moment them two are sort of nailed on for top 4, yeah. So we are 6 points behind Forest, which is doable. 3 points behind Newcastle, 2 behind you, right? Obviously, we got Villa and Bournemouth behind us. It was still in the race, by the way. 100%. Them 2 teams are still in the race. The problem that I've got with it, right, is our fixtures coming up are disgusting. Have you seen our fixtures?
Yeah.
They are ridiculous. I mean, they're absolutely shambolically. I don't know who done these fixtures, right? So we got Ipswich at the weekend, which has to be 3 points. It has to be. There can't be any, we drew, but we improved, like Brentford. Like, because against Brentford, like, there was signs of improvement. And like you say, get that point at Brentford. It's not the end of the world. It is a difficult place to play football, right? But the Ipswich has to be at 3 points. Because if we draw, I don't want to see anyone saying, oh, yeah, but we played well. There's improved. Because then look at the fixtures. Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham, Forest, Brighton. And the problem is, right? The problem is our record against the top 6 sides in the last 2 seasons is trash. We've won 4 games we've won. So, our top 6 sides, they got Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham, right? Top 6, right? I don't think we beat Newcastle either. So and Liverpool there. So I don't see a lot of wins based off the historical data that I'm getting from this season and last season. So we have to get 3 points. For me, I think it's going to come down to City winning.
I think you'll beat Leyton Orient though.
Oh, cheers, mate. Look at him get a fucking win last night.
Outrageous, by the way. Might have to take a rain check on top 4. Like, that is a tough run-in. I wasn't aware of that. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, you're going to get top 4, man. What are we doing?
For me,
you're going to get top 4, man.
Yes, for me, though, I think it's going to come down to our title running. Well, a title running, fucking hell. Top 4 running, because after Brighton, We've got winnable games. Leicester,
Yeah,
United away, obviously could be tough, but Palace at home, Everton away, Villa at home, which is tough. Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, and Fulham. I think basically we're going to be in a situation where we need to win 6 of our last 9 games to get top 4. And I think we do that, we should be fine, unless we literally lose every single one of these games here. I don't know. Potsy, what are you saying, man? Do you think we're getting top 4, top 5? Top 5, by the way, I don't know if you know, like 98% chance of 5th place being the Champions League spot.
Yeah, so you're going to get Champions League. Let's be real. Do you actually care if you get 5th or 4th then? I wouldn't.
No, I don't give a fuck.
Nah. So you're going to get Champions League football, which is all you need to secure, right? And you're going to get that. Let's be real. I look at things right now. I knew Newcastle this season were going to do it, but they were really putting me in the mud with it, like at the start of the season. Now they seem to have really picked things up, and they just look on fire at the moment with 1 game a week with a fully fit squad. They have still got a couple of injuries, I think, and I think they'll do something in January as well. So I think City will be fine. Look, I didn't watch the game the other night, but I saw that you were pretty comfortable at 2-0, and then obviously things went to shit in the last 10 to 12 minutes, right? But I just look at City at the moment, and whenever I watch, I only see. I never watch City for 90 minutes. I only ever watch them on Match of the Day or the highlights. It just don't look the same, LB. And I know that's an obvious thing to say because you're like 4P, but things just don't look the same anywhere. Like defensively, it looks bad. In midfield, there's no real dominance or control. And up top, you're just nowhere near as clinical. I don't know what's happened to Haaland, and I know that he will score because he's just that guy that always will get on the end of it, but he just doesn't look as dominant. Foden's come back into the mix. De Bruyne's like knocking the ball around well. But if them 3 aren't really on fire, I don't really see what's happening. I quite like Savio, if I'm honest. Or I don't know what his name is. I called him Savio, because Savino was saying in it, but I like him. I think he's got potential. You definitely, though, I will say, these signings that you're going to make in January, I think can definitely kick you on, because I think the 2 signings at centre half are going to now prevent all of your defensive frailties. And I quite rate them from what I hear as well. Kusanov apparently is a really good player. And this Vitor Reis, is it? Or Heis? I don't know how you say his name.
Hayes,
so,
apparently it's Hayes.
Hayes,
right. Hayes, yeah.
Vitor Hayes. Okay, so and we were linked with him. He's supposed to be like next level when it comes to young centre-backs. But Marmoush is a baller, bruv. Proper baller. So I think that you could actually get him to kind of, it sounds mad to think that January could save Man City season. I never would have said that in August, right? But I actually think January could. And I don't know about you as a City fan. I'd be trying to throw my eggs in the winning the Champions League, bro. Like just if there's a game that's Champions League, put that ahead of the game against Everton, for example, at the weekend, and go for the Champions League. Like that, you don't have to be the best to win that competition. I've kind of said that the same with us, that if we start to fall away so far like you have from a title, I'd be like, do you know what? I don't give a damn. We're going to get in the top 5. We ain't going to finish 8th. So let's just go for the Champions League. And that's where I would be now as a City fan. But I don't know if that's a mad sort of, if that's the mentality you have, because you've always had that elite mentality under Pep.
Well, yeah, but you have to also be realistic, innit? And like you talk about mentality, but we can't win the league. The league is done. Any City fan speaking about the league for me is like, what are you doing, man? Like, we're not winning a fucking league. You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, I think we can focus on the Champions League. The problem is, if we do not get a midfielder in, we ain't winning the Champions League. So then I would say, if we don't get a midfielder in, focus on the FA Cup. Because I think we can legitimately win the FA Cup, even if we don't buy a midfielder, right? Because, you know, we can. I think we can, right? Champions League, though, bro, no, we're not. If we play, I watched Barcelona versus Real Madrid at the weekend, right? I watched the El Clasico. If we play either of those 2 teams with this midfield, we will get destroyed. I'm telling you that for a fact. Yeah,
how high is the standard of that midfield technically? If we're both
oh my fucking god! And I know for a fact
it?
there's people who don't watch it, right? Don't watch La Liga, and they'll be like, "What's he on about?" Negative. I'm saying, mate, you fucking watch Barcelona at the moment, yeah, or even Real Madrid, and they got destroyed. They would run rings around our midfield. Kovacic and Gundogan in midfield. You got fucking Pedri, Gavi, fucking these guys balling out. Rafinha dropping into the space. Now, so we need to get a midfield. If we get a midfielder in, yeah, pots it. 100% full tender Champions
League.
You will,
right? You will, right? Surely you will.
Well, City fans are getting a bit anxious about it, man, because literally, bro, we've had 0 links. You know, like every club has their own journalist, right? Who like you trust. None of our journalists since the transfer window opened have given us a single name that we're looking at.
What about this Atlanta brother? This Edison?
Edison. Well, that's my theory is that we're looking at him and we're going to wait until the end of the window to see if Atlanta are still in a title race, and they're falling away. And this weekend on Saturday, big game actually, a really big game. They play Napoli, and if they get beat, Napoli are top of the league. If they get beat off Napoli, they'll be 7 points behind Napoli at the top of the table with 2 games left before the transfer window shuts. So maybe if they get beat off Napoli,
they'll probably beat him.
I know. Well, then people always say to me, "Well, what about if they're still in the race, LB? Then what?" Well, then I don't fucking know, mate. I'm just going off like the scraps here. Plus, if you look around the, we were speaking about it last night. I did a show last night with the lads, and there's not really that many midfielders out there, is there, that are attainable? That like at the quality that we need. Like, I'm looking at like players like Bruno G. Like we're not getting Bruno G. Like Baleba is probably one that is available because obviously they're a selling club in the mid-table and not doing anything this year. But I City going to drop 100 million, 110 million on Baleba based off of what, 18 months? And I still think there's technical issues with him on the ball. Like, is he good enough on the ball, up the pitch? You know what I mean? I watched him last weekend against, was it Liverpool or Arsenal? I keep forgetting. Who did Brighton play last week? Played Liverpool or Arsenal, didn't they?
Played us, yeah.
Yeah, and he was fucking world class. But I still have concerns with him on the ball further up the pitch. But I don't know, mate. Like, if we get a midfielder and they're semi-decent, yeah, fully agree. Full set in the Champions League. We do need to get in that top 5. But it's all on that midfielder for me. But yeah, that Marmoush signing, I think that gets done in the next 2 days from what like people are saying online, which is good. And he is a top class player. And we got to sign him quick because we don't want, they're playing Dortmund on Friday. And we don't exactly want fucking him playing again. You know what I mean? He's only played 2 games since we started the negotiations. We don't want him playing again. So,
who would you prefer, Baleba or Adam Wharton?
Baleba.
Yeah. He looks
Yeah, I
quality.
think that's a profile you don't really have in your squad, isn't it?
We don't have a runner. We don't have anyone in our midfield that can run. Like, I wouldn't say run. Bernardo Silva can run, but he's not very fast. Do you know what I mean? I need a player. Yeah. I fucking need a player that can, like, I said it yesterday. I need a player that can do the 100-meter sprint in less than 30 fucking seconds. Yeah, I'm not asking for Usain Bolt levels of fastness here. Yeah, I'm honestly not asking for like a rapid guy. Yeah, I'm just asking someone that can actually move. Because none of our midfielders can fucking move, man. It's fucking insane. Like, Kovacic is slow. You know what I mean? Like, and this is funny, man, because like, Kovacic, I don't know what it was like when he was at Yorgas, but like Kovacic has a little bit of a split in the City fan base. Some of them, and I'm sort of in the middle sitting on the fence, but like some people think he's shit because he's off the ball work, he's awful. And some people think he's mint, but they're only looking at him on the ball because on the ball he's class, and
no, he's very good.
Class. But off the ball, he ain't great. So like he doesn't help. He's 5 or 10% better than Ilkay Gundogan, who ain't great either. So I don't know, man. Listen, we was on the street. I did a stream with City fans last night, and we was trying to find out like who we can get, what midfielder we can get, like realistically, who's good enough and attainable in January. And there's not that many out there. Baleba, Douglas Luiz.
That would be the one. That's got to be the one now.
What?
I think that is realistic. Douglas Luiz. That's realistic.
They obviously don't want him, though, do they? They obviously don't want him.
I don't get why, man. I mean, I'm looking at Pep now. I don't know if you saw him after the game. He was a bloody psycho, that guy. What the hell was he doing now? Is that how he now talks to his players? Is that how he psychs them up? I thought he was like
Ortega, you mean?
Yeah. And didn't he do it with Gavardio as well? I was like, this guy is absolute madman, you know. Like, he's just like completely like 0 F's given now. He's like, I'm done. I'm just going to go sick on everyone. Like, it's crazy. Look, maybe it works with the team, but I think Man City, they've got to now look at the rebuild. And I'm actually quite shocked how bad they've planned, if I'm honest. Because it's like they've not looked how old everyone is, and now they've all got old together, and they're like, oh, maybe we need to look at some of the
apparently that was on Pep. Pep came out in the press conference the other day and said the club wanted to do the rebuild this summer, and he said no.
Jeez.
So apparently everyone's been fucking roasting Tiki Barigistan, who's our sporting director, saying, get him out of that fucking club, he's let the club rot and all this kind of shit. And then Pep came out the other day and was like, yeah, they wanted to do it this summer. And I said, nah. So it's like, oh shit, so it's your fucking fault.
That's so weird, bro. That's just mad, isn't it? Like, I would never have thought that, because I thought you would have planned or at least looked at your academy, because I don't mean even so the ones that you've got now, because I quite like the look of McAtee and O'Reilly. I'm surprised I haven't played more minutes this season, if I'm honest with you. But when I look at the players that have gone, I'm just like, it actually is criminal when you look at how many of them have gone on to do bits. And I understand at the time it weren't going to get a game, right? People will say, "Oh, well, he had to get rid of him because we had X, Y, Z." But I don't know that you did have some of the XYZ, certainly not as backup. So like Cole Palmer, Lavia, Morgan Rogers. I know some of those players you'd think, well, they were crap when they were in the academy. But like, wow, like this many misses. And Liam Delap even would be perfect cover for you for Haaland right now. It's scary, if I'm honest, how good that academy is. So I would look at that and learn from that and go, do you know what? We've got all these ballers now that are playing all around the Premier League. Let's look at who's next and try and bleed them in a bit. That's what I would think I'd want.
All right, so both of you lads think City will get top 5, which should give us
Yeah.
Champions League
Yeah.
football. Right, okay,
100%.
so who misses out then, in your opinion?
Chelsea.
Go on, Dan. I'll let you go first. Go on.
Yeah, I think Chelsea currently. I think the drop in
Wow.
form. Yeah, I think the drop in form's been. Look at the form guide there. If you look at all the teams, Chelsea's is the worst. There's no winning 5. You can't sit there confidently saying you get top 4 if you haven't won a game in 5. It's just not been good enough recent weeks, and I'm not sure whether I see it changing in January. I think it's gone incredibly quiet. Sometimes that means stuff's being worked on, but the fact that we've gone and recalled Trevor Chalobah says to me that the club aren't willing to spend. They've gone and just recalled someone they already had on loan. And I don't know what level Trev's at. I mean, I don't know what he's really been like at Palace this season. I think he's been okay. I don't think it would excite anyone that he's coming back into the defence. I think they just like the fact that he's getting another chance. But this board have messed him around a lot. I think scoring goals wise, bar Cole Palmer, there's no real output at the moment for Chelsea. So, and Maresca, ultimately, as much as people don't want to blame him, a manager is always the person who is in control to a certain extent of whether or not a team are getting results, and it has to be, the light has to be shone on him a little bit. Whether or not you want him out of the club or not is a different story. I think he could just turn things around. I think he's shown Chelsea play better this season than what he's done in the last 5-6 games. But yeah, I don't see Chelsea getting it. I think Newcastle have had their bad patch. They're absolutely on fire at the moment. I mean, Isak can't stop scoring. Manchester City, I think, will finish the season in better form than Chelsea. I look at that table and I just don't see Chelsea getting ahead. Maybe Forest if they were to fall off, but the form Forest are in at the moment, Chelsea can't even compete anywhere near that. So,
I mean, that's kind of crazy considering
yeah,
he was
but
in a title race like 3 weeks ago.
Look at the fixtures, right? And you look at the fixtures that if you look at our last 6 games, we should have been cementing ourselves in a title race.
You should have. You should 100% should have.
And we've literally fallen out of the top 4 pretty much.
So you should have had an extra 2 points here.
Are we 5th today?
3
We're 5th
points
today, aren't we?
Right, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. So you should have had 12 more points, really. Because you should have won all those games, right? So if you had an extra 12 points, right?
We've got 3 in our last 15 points, I think.
You're on 49. You're top of the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you would have won those games, which you should have done,
and
you would
look
have been
at
top
the
of the league.
difficulty of those fixtures. Those fixtures are probably one of the easiest run-ins in the Prem of the last 6 games over the festive period for Premier League teams. And ultimately, the squad and Maresca have fallen short.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I slightly disagree with that. I think Chelsea will be all right for top 5. I do. I think Chelsea will. I know they've gone through a blip, but I think they will pick it up. I said Newcastle would get top 4 before a ball was kicked. And I keep tongue in cheek, like raising my eyebrows and trying to act all smug. But I actually do think they'll drop off a little bit. And I think Forest will. I think the top 5 will be Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, and Villa. I think Forest and Newcastle might drop out because we're thinking like we are so light.
Why would Newcastle drop out though, bro? They're cooking. They
Because
got no
I know,
European football.
and I said this, bro. This is why I said they'd be brilliant 1 game a week. They'll be fine. But the minute they get a couple of injuries, they just crumble. We've seen it. They're not gonna. The minute they lose an Isak, the minute they lose a Gordon or they lose a Tonali or something like that, they just ain't the same. And I keep getting told this, and I keep ignoring it. And now you're saying the same as I was saying. I've seen this, and that's why I put them at 4th because I thought 1 game a week with that team, they're going to cook. And they didn't because they had injuries. Now they're coming back. They're firing again. Are they going to be able to stay fit for 17 games? For their sake, I hope they do. But I feel, and Forest as well, I'm just waiting for them. I hope they don't, but I'm waiting for them to fall off. I think Liverpool and Arsenal will stay where they are. I genuinely do. I think Liverpool win the league. I think Arsenal come second. And then I think after that, I think it will be literally, I wouldn't want to even put the order, but I'm going to go with Chelsea, City, and Villa as the top 5. And I think Newcastle and Forest. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want City and Chelsea in there, right? But I just, for me, I can't see Forest keeping this up. The thing is with Forest and Newcastle, they've got one game a week, right? Chelsea pretty much have as well. People don't realise this. Chelsea, this Conference League thing does not get in the way of them at all. They're already out of the Carabao Cup. They're going to do well in the FA Cup potentially, but that's the only other competition they've got to worry about really in terms of like using their squad. They can win that Conference League with their B team because it's that bad. So they're not going to get affected. So I think Chelsea will pick it up again. But it's mad, isn't it? It's really hard to pick. I don't know what you boys think, but I'll stick with my top five, which
I mean,
has City, Chelsea, and Villa in it with Liverpool and Arsenal. That's what I'll stick with. But
yeah, Roms, you played Forest the other day. Do you see a team there that looks nervous, that looks like it might about to be going on some sort of bad form that could drop out, or what? Because I didn't see that game, bro. I was just City were playing at the same time.
Do you know what? Chelsea Down was speaking about squad building last week, and they can just play any type of way. They can sit back, hit you on the counter, and I've heard that they've got the least possession stats wise in the league this
It's
season.
like 30% as an average.
Yeah, but they can afford to, because I'll quickly give a rundown of our game. First 15 minutes, I thought we were electric. The only thing that was missing was the goal. They score against the run of play, completely against the run of play. And once they scored, we just kind of ran out of ideas. We were keeping the ball. But I always say, what's possession for possession's sake if you're not putting the ball in the back of the net? So Forest, for me, were good. Second half, we came out another team. You know what it was reminiscent of, right? Matt Sells had a Courtois performance. Remember when we played Real Madrid in the Champions League final a couple of years ago? He was saving everything. There's a save that he made with Gakpo, right? Gakpo's put it right in the corner, and it's taken a deflection, and he's still got a hand to it. Sometimes it was an outstanding save, bro. And sometimes you have to just put your hands up. Salah had one where Ole Aina clears it off the line. Second half, we come out the blocks, but I was so impressed with Forest because I predicted a draw. I said a couple of days before this game, I said, look, it's not time to panic. I think Arsenal will go there and struggle. I think many teams will go to the City ground and struggle. So I know some people lose their heads and it can be reactionary, but I said we'll go on a little run after the Forest game, and I truly believe that. I know there's a few away games that are tough for us, but what game is easy in the Prem? Bar 1 or 2. There's never an easy game. It's not going to be easy to win the league. The league's not supposed to be easy to win. But back to Forest, I just think, even though they've got a good squad, I do think quality does prevail. And you look at the other 5-6 teams around them, if we're being honest, starting 11s are better. But I do think they get Europe. I don't think they get top 4, but I think they get around 6 or 7. Forest will have a little drop-off, but I don't think it will be a drastic drop-off where they finish 9th or 10th. But I think they'll get the 5th or 6th spot. And depending on coefficient, 5th could be enough to get you Champions League anyway. But big up Wolf in the chat. But Forest, I rate them highly.
that was one of the best games I've seen this season, real talk. And it was like 1-1. It was so end-to-end. It was so intense. It was a proper... For me, looking from the outside in, if I take my Arsenal cap off, it looked like two teams that were genuinely the best two in the league. Like in terms of everything, how they were drilled, what they were doing, how they set up, what they were trying to do, how they were going for it, end-to-end stuff. And I always think you can judge a game by commentary. You know, commentators always try to like, oh, this is unbelievable. Like even when it's like 0-0 and hardly any shots. They were just loving it. I think it was Steve McManaman and I can't remember who it was with him, but they were absolutely just like, this is incredible, man. This is intense.
What a shit commentator he is.
No, he is a shit commentator, but he is actually dreadful. But that wasn't my point. They're not good commentators, but you can genuinely tell they were excited and loving what they were seeing. I was like, do you know what? This is an enjoyable game, man. And that Murillo is ridiculous, mate. I mean, him and Milenkovic. Oh my god, man.
He said apparently he's just come out and said like he loves City and like City should definitely fucking go and sign that guy. Seriously, man. Yeah.
Do you know what is right? There's this notion, and I've streamed with you many times, and I always say this. I hate when like a top 6 club play like, let's say, a bottom half. I'm not saying Forest are bottom half, but you know, if you play a club of less quality, like they're not trying to play football, they're pragmatic. That's what they should be doing. Like, do you want them to try and go all out attack just for them to get spanked? There was this notion within our fan base. Forest didn't come out to play, whatnot. They were pragmatic. Well, they set out to do that, and they implemented it. credit to
Well,
them.
there's no right way of playing football, man. It's what people got to get their head
Exactly.
around, isn't it? Like, got to fucking get off your high horse and say, every team has to play a certain way. Yeah, I mean, like, this is why I sort of agree with Sam Allardyce, man, when he always has a moan, doesn't he? Like, everyone's playing the fucking tiki-taka way. It's like, there's no right way of playing football. The aim of the game is to win a football match. If you sit there and have 10% possession but win 1-0, that's a success. You've got the 3 points. If you batter
I
a
miss
team
the
and
clashing styles. It used to
Me
make for
too.
better games, I think.
yeah,
Do
100%.
you know what? Have all three of you are still yet to go to the City ground, aren't you?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, not that we've been. Oh yeah, we've been.
I'll make a bold prediction. I don't think any of you win at that ground. They are so tough, and that back four. It's not even
I
just
agree.
Murillo. It's not even just Murillo and Milenkovic. Nico Williams that used to play for us.
Yeah,
had
he's
Salah
unreal.
in his pocket. Had
Yeah.
Salah in his absolute pocket. And the other side, Ole Einar. He's been the best right back in the league.
He's been class. We've been linked with him obviously as a
Sorry.
Walker replacement.
Left back or right back. He's so versatile. He
Right-
can play
right
either
back.
or.
Maybe
He is
like
right
that.
back, isn't it?
Do you not think though,
Yeah.
Roms? Yeah, that there's similarities to the Wolves side. I'm not saying that it's a replica, but in terms of what Nuno did at Wolves, one of their best players was Matt Doherty. He's done nothing since. Now all of a sudden it's Ole Einar. So I'm looking at the system. I'm looking at who can flourish in a system, and I just feel like I've seen this before when they go right. I want their right back, and you think, why is he no good for me? It's because it's a different system. Nuno's system is so unique, and I love what they're doing. Sells like what an unbelievable goalkeeper. 5 million from Strasbourg. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's Chelsea.
should have
Isn't it?
got him. Chelsea should have got him, man.
He's a good manager, man. He gets his team set up, like rock solid and that. You know what I mean? Difficult to play against, difficult to beat, and they might not.
Spurs fans are hating it, by the way, LB. They got rid of him.
But if you think about it, like Spurs was literally one of the worst clubs that he could have gone to based off of styles of like Spurs are always like playing nice football, attacking and attacking. It's a real clash of sort of identity there. So of course that didn't work. What a stupid sort of appointment there. But listen, you got to give credit to Forest, and you got to respect them. But I just think at some point, and listen, it's only because like it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, at some point, our Forest going to drop off. And I think they probably will at some point, but they might not do. You know what I mean? Because I keep going back to this West Ham thing a few years ago. Yeah. I don't know if Roms and Potts was on the channel when I said it earlier on, but West Ham did this a few years ago. And they was in the top 4 under Moyes. They were in the top 4 for like pretty much, I don't know, 6-7 months. And then they just crumbled, man. I think it was like 3 years ago or something like that, right? I think it was maybe the year before they won the Conference League.
Did they have Europe though, LB? That could have been a factor.
That year?
Yeah, did they have Europe that year?
I don't think they did, Oh,
fair enough.
Do you remember the year that I'm talking about when West Ham was in the top 4 until like January?
They didn't have Europe. They
fell out and got Conference League, didn't they? And
I think that's what
season
they
after that they had Europa.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm looking at it and thinking, is that what they're going to do? Are they going to fall off? But they're
you know what? They take it though, wouldn't they? They take Conference League, Forest. They take anything.
Well, they were in a relegation battle last year.
Exactly.
Oh, when Chelsea played them away, they literally got their 40 points and were celebrating being safe.
Wolfie, big up.
Yes.
Come on, Wolfie, man. What's going on, lad? Are you getting top 4 or what? Are the Forest back?
We're back, boys. We're back. And I'm still going to say we're in a title race. I think to realistically have won it,
love that.
We needed to have won. We needed to have won. But it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go. I think for me, Liverpool away was going to be the hardest match. We've already done that. We've done it at home now. I think it's going to be an interesting second half to the season, boys. It's too tight. Newcastle are the ones that really worry me. Newcastle's form right now is sensational. But it's such a shake-up. And I still think, LB, your boys can go into that robot mode. I know you're not going to agree with me, but
I tell you what, this is the quickest fucking show ever if you fucking say that we're in a title race, mate.
I'm not saying you're in a title race. What I'm saying...
I'll fucking boot you off if you say we're in a title race.
But what I'm saying is you've still got to play a lot of those teams. You still have a massive say. Whether or not you think title race, top 4, whatever, you've still got to play these teams and you've still got the fear factor.
It's like a leveraged situation because we play all the teams around us. If we beat them, then
Yeah.
obviously we would simultaneously we get points, but they don't. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Exactly. You still got to look at Liverpool going to play Arsenal. I know you've got Arsenal at home, haven't you, Rums? If I remember right. Yeah.
Third to last day of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. If you got what about Man City? Have you played them home
So
or away?
in this top 8, we've got Arsenal at home. Obviously, we've played you twice. We've got Newcastle at home, but then we've got Chelsea, City, and Villa all away, and Bournemouth. So from 5th to 8th, we've got all of them away. Plus, chuck Everton into that as well. So we've got tough away games. We've got tough away games left.
You're clear favourites. There's no two ways about it. I ain't coming on here deluded about it. It's yours to lose. But we've seen Potts has seen 8 points thrown away 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's happened. I reckon you're probably feeling comfortable if the chasing pack is Arsenal and Forest over, say, Man City. Yeah, I get that.
You're spot on, bro, because I was literally speaking to my boy last night, and after the result, he said, "Are you worried about Arsenal?" I said, "No." The only way, and no disrespect to Arsenal, but the only way I'm worried is if they do something this window. If they keep their current squad past February the 2nd or 3rd, whenever the window shuts, I'm not worried because they will have games. Yeah, I'll give them credit. They beat Spurs to come back from behind, and they show resilience. Cool. But with their current squad, it was, for me, I still felt when Arsenal went forward, where's the goal really coming from? I think it was a good finish from Trossard, but if we're being honest, Kingsley should have did better with the save. And then the other goals from a set piece, that's not sustainable. And I still looked at their front line and was so confident they're not going to score an abundance of goals. And that's why they've only won 2-1. If they sign 2 forwards, I think the title race gets really interesting. If they actually bolster that forward line, because defensively, I think we'll all agree they're fine. They're fine. I think I'll still go as far to say Arsenal are probably one of, if not the best defensive team in the league. But going forward, I think none of us are really scared of them at all.
Yeah.
With this current crop of attackers.
With Saka out 100%. Also, the thing I felt was missing yesterday from Arsenal was a bit of passion. That's the North London derby. You know what I mean? It just felt, if that was the first time you were watching football, you would not have known that these two were rivals and hated each other. And I put that same thing to Spurs. It just was missing some passion yesterday.
So Spurs were fucking awful, man.
Yeah, I think that comes down to Spurs yesterday. I felt like Arsenal were up for it. I just think Spurs looked so off it. They just knew they didn't have a chance.
Spurs dragged Arsenal down to their level, didn't they? Like they were absolutely diabolical. Spurs.
Arsenal had chances as well.
Is a miracle, by the way, because they were shockingly bad, and like. Oh, and another day, Arsenal. If Arsenal had like decent attackers, oh my god, it would have been about 5-0.
Dan, you make a good point because Potts will even vouch for this. Arsenal's problem isn't creating chances; they create, I think, on average 15 to 20 chances per game. It's just putting it in the back of the net. They create an abundance of chances.
That's why we need to upgrade the forward line. I mean, I look at it yesterday. Havertz was poor. Sterling trying but not getting anywhere. Martinelli coming on and running and showing passion and tenacity but not getting anywhere. Odegaard fluffing his lines. It's only really Trossard who managed to obviously get the shot away. But let's be real, he hasn't been on fire either. So I look at it now and think it's criminal if we do nothing in January. It's absolutely disastrous if we do nothing in the forward line in January. I kind of agree and disagree with what Wolfie said about the passion as well. I think that the around the concourse and around it was like every other North London derby. We got in first 20 minutes. I thought we were by far the best team. And then they flattened us a bit with the goal. But what I will say is the fans actually never did give up. Certainly around me anyway, they were absolutely flying. But I don't think they threatened at all, Spurs. I was going to ask you guys, you've already sort of spoke about it with us already. I honestly thought they were so bad. like, and I don't want to make out this me saying it because I'm an Arsenal fan and I hate Tottenham, but I genuinely just thought they were poor.
No, we're all saying it, bro.
That was a top 4 side last season, and look at them now. Like the fall
state of it, bruv. Like Bissouma, like people telling me that he was better than Rice. He's been terrible, this guy. And you know that for that goal that Trossard scored, what was he doing, man? Their goalkeeper that everyone was hyping up, he was absolutely horrendous, man. He was shaky as anything.
Abysmal. When was it? Goddamn, what's his face? Havertz. When he closed him down, and they get goalkeepers there flapping away. Like Havertz should have scored that. He was taking absolute liberties, that goalkeeper.
What was he doing?
Embarrassing, man. And they were hyping this guy up after the Liverpool game.
The only one that looked actually half decent was Jed Spence. Like, he's quite a good player. I rate him.
He
I
actually
can't
did
believe
look
he
all
hasn't
right
actually
yesterday.
played for a
Yeah.
couple of seasons. I
Probably the
can't
best
believe
player.
that.
Oh my God, can you
Yeah.
think on Kulusevski? My God. He was
him,
absolutely
man.
That's the worst I've seen
awful,
him.
bro.
That's the
Oh
worst.
my days. Every time he got the ball, he just fucking give it away. Can't
Yeah.
believe how bad people
It was
call him Kevin De
terrible, yeah.
Bruyne. I tell you what, yeah, right? If these fans who compare their players to Kevin De Bruyne, they all turn out shit. Yeah, they did it with Bruno Fernandes, they did it with Odegaard, they're doing it with Kulusevski. Yeah, keep my player's name out your fucking mouth, mate. Yeah, because it's a jinx. Oh my God, I can't believe how bad he was yesterday. Because obviously I wanted Spurs to win, right? You know what I mean? And I was like, every time he got the ball, I was like, go on, lad, go on. And he was just awful, fouling players all over the gaff, giving the ball back to Arsenal. They were all bad. They were all bad. To be fair.
I know it's like, I know Tottenham were crap, so Arsenal must have won, but actually I didn't think we were bad yesterday. And I'm one who normally calls out where we played badly. Yes, we were bad in front of goal, but actually I thought we dominated the majority of the game. But I've got to call out Miles Lewis Skelly, man. Like this kid's a baller, man. Like 17 years old. He's come in at left back. He's not a left back by trade. He's grew up as a central midfielder. He's so confident on the ball and the strength. He's like, see you later, Kulu. Just bounced off of him. He's 17, this lad. Like, gets through to Sarr, like, what are you on the floor for, mate? Just picks the ball up and runs with it. This kid's been so good for us. I think he's gone under the radar. And I appreciate that Ethan Waneri got a lot of mention because he does look good and he looks more like aesthetically pleasing on the eye at times. But this kid looks ridiculously good, man. And I just feel like we've got a player there. What is actually quite ironic is we spent 40 million M's on 40 M's on Calafiori, and I'd rather have Lewis Skelly, man. Like, real talk.
Look, that brings me on to my question. Look, you know, sometimes football fans can be a bit reactionary and premature, but I feel like Skelly's got enough of a sample size to warrant his place in the starting 11. I think dating back to the City game in September, right?
Yeah.
Now, because I've seen some of your fans saying, I think it's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, but would you maybe entertain, let's say a team came in with a big offer for Calafiori, would you maybe entertain it? Because I think Lewis Skelly has now actually, and he's Hale End as well, so that sentiment comes into it. He's automatically a fan favourite. Could you see a world where maybe you move Calafiori on because you found the answer in Hale End?
So I get your question. The reason I'm going to disagree and say no, we'll keep Calafiori is one, he's just come and he's not really been given a full chance yet. The other thing is that I actually think he's a centre half, mate. I don't think he's a left back. I think he's a really good, potentially really good centre half. I don't think his positioning is right for a left back, just from the early signs of what I've seen. And we need cover because we've got Gabriel and Saliba, and that's it. Kivior wants out. Zinchenko wants out. Tierney wants out. Get rid of them. Keep Calafiori and Lewis Skelly. Play Timber, and you've obviously got Tomiyasu, which people say get rid of, but no one's going to want him. So we're stuck with him as well. And then you just go from there. That's what I would say when Ben White comes back. So then you'll have White and Timber and Tomiyasu. You'll have Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, and potentially Timber and Tomiyasu if you really want to play them left back as well. And then we're going to need another centre half to come in to replace an upgrade on Kivior. And then you have Calafiori and the new guy, and then Gabriel and Saliba. That's what I think the future of the Arsenal defence will look like. But Lewis Skelly deserves to be our starter right now, Roms. He's been absolutely brilliant. And I think consistently been good as well. You know, when you see like glimpses and you think, yeah, that's quite promising. You also see 17, 18-year-olds come through, and you'll all have this at your clubs, where they look rash or they look raw, or they look a bit emotional, they look a bit naive. This kid looks so calm and composed and strong on the ball and comfortable, and he has that kind of confidence and fearlessness. I'm a big fan, man. Big fan of what I see from this kid, man.
Dan, do you want to see him blooded in rather than chucked in? If you know what I mean, because
100%.
we see it all the time, don't we, with these kids, and they end up having too much pressure on them. I mean, Man U are probably the worst team for it with Mainu and Garnacho and what have you. I just worry that the Arsenal fan base overdo it with him rather than let him kind of be nurtured and developed. You know what I mean? I think it just needs that care and attention.
I think as much as I like the attitude of him, I think we've got to remember who he is and where he's come from. And, you know, we can't treat him like Bukayo Saka, for example. We have to actually allow this kid to mold in. I will say, though, I do think that if you're what's that term? If you're good enough, you're old enough. I really stand by that. You know, that was happening. I'm not kind of comparing to any of these names, by the way, that I'm about to say. But when Fabregas and when Rooney, when you could just see, couldn't you, straight away. I get that kind of comfort with those kind of two players. I don't think they're going to hit the hypes of those names, but I certainly do believe they're good enough right now for this squad. Whether that would have been good enough for the Invincible squad is a different story. But for right now, what we've got, they should both be getting easily places in where we are. I mean, you know, Waneri's coming up against Jesus and Sterling, yeah, and Lewis Skelly's coming up against Zinchenko and Tierney and Kivior and obviously Calafiori. So for what we've actually got, I think it's fair to say that they're going to get a lot of game time this season if they stay fit.
Do you know what, Poch? Yeah, where I'm going to commend them even more is young players coming into a team, depending on what their objective is. For example, Saka and Smith Rowe, when they came into that Arteta team or Emery team, I believe, your objective was just to get top 4 again. You weren't in a title race. The fact that the objective for a title race, and you know, a lot of managers don't like taking risks. Like you see with Slot now, we've got a crop of good young players. Jaden, Dange, Trey, Anyoni, Rio made his debut on the weekend, but you're hardly going to see them in the first team. The fact that Arteta, because let's be honest, as much as a lot of your fan base don't rate him, Arteta could still persist with Zinchenko because of the experience factor. But he's gone, you know what? You've actually shown me a sample size of good work. I'm going to start you as the starting left back in this title race. That's testament to how good he is. The fact that he can deal with this pressure in a title race. And another thing is, obviously, I don't watch Arsenal as much as you, but I don't remember him having a bad game. That is credit to him. I don't think he's had a bad game in an Arsenal shirt. And you've played some tough opposition as well.
He hasn't had a bad game, and what's mad is he's played him against Liverpool. He's played him against. We brought him on against City. He's played him in tough games. He's now gone through the North London derby, and he's been one of our better performers in every single one of those games. And I think that is a massive hats off to him. What I do quite like is he has gone under the radar a bit, and some of these fans are starting to see his performances as a little bit more typical, as opposed to like, wow. His link up play with some of the others have been fantastic as well. I thought Gabriel was outstanding yesterday, by the way. Absolutely ridiculous. That guy's a monster, mate. Absolutely superb. You know, judges said it was like he was a Londoner. It actually was. His performance was so passionate. It was incredible. And his performance alongside him has been great. Declan Rice again yesterday was a lot better, and he was great with Declan Rice. So I look at how he's performing. It's been outstanding. And I think he, you know, for a 17-year-old to do what he's done in North London derby there with a lot of pressure on him, a lot of eyes on him, he's taken it in his stride and he's been wonderful, man. So I think he deserves all the plaudits he's getting, man.
Do you boys look at Spurs and think their fan base should be seriously vexed about yesterday? Because I think back to last year when they played Man City and they were talking about let's roll over, make sure Arsenal don't win and what have you. I would look at that. If that was my team, that was my local rivals, I'd be saying, where was that outrage from, you know, last season where they wanted to roll over for Man City? They had a chance. I honestly believe if they'd beaten you yesterday, Potsy, it would have been absolute riots. Do you know what I'm saying? On the Arsenal side.
We spoke about this, LB, didn't we? On Straight Facts. You said if this happens, then it would be a disaster for Arsenal. Yeah. But it's Spurs, so it won't. Because when the pressure's on, they won't. And I remember you saying that, and I was thinking, I hope he's right. Because at the time, I was not confident about winning, because obviously we've been playing terrible. I actually thought we'd draw the game. We nearly did, to be fair. But you look at it and you think, do you know what? You're bang on. When the pressure gets to them, they are 14th, joint with Palace at the back. What is happening here with that club?
It's the truth. That's what I said yesterday. I said, listen, the whole country wants Spurs to win. Yeah. The whole country wants Spurs to win, so they won't win. Because that's what they do, man. As soon as the pressure is on in any form, they fuck. And people say, well, they beat you. Yeah, because the pressure's off. They come to the Etihad. No one expects them to win. Even when we're shit, no one expects them to win. The pressure's off. Kulusevski's coming out. I love playing at the Etihad. I love playing against Manchester City. Yeah, it's because you get fucking freedom and like no one actually gives a shit if you're good or not. And then like City is shit. You batter us. It's like, yeah, look at us. And then they lose the next 3 fucking games or whatever. It's like they are just.
What I've noticed, what I've noticed, just quickly, what I've noticed is they try to form a rivalry with everyone, Tottenham. They try and do it with City now. Oh, we beat you every time. We're your bogey club, and City are like, we don't care about you, man. Just shut up. You beat us, but we won a 4-peat. Shut up. And they try and do it with every single fan. They try and do it with Liverpool fans. It's an embarrassment. No one cares about them. They're not relevant. They don't win anything. They're the only Big Six club that don't win anything. So just shut up. It's jarring, man. Can't stand it.
They were so. I can't underestimate how bad they were. They were so bad yesterday. It was unbelievable.
Do you know what, LB? I'm going to give Ange the teeny tiniest bit of credit. And this is why. Because I don't watch Spurs that often, right?
Getting them to the stadium.
No. But the Spurs fans I do speak to, apparently he never tries to be proactive. He makes substitutions late. I think the double substitution of Sarr and Basuma coming off and putting on Maddison, and I believe Brennan Johnson's crap. Like I rated him at you lot, Wolfie, but for Spurs, he's a complete different player.
Absolutely.
But the fact
rubbish.
he made that offensive double substitution showed that he actually tried to go for the game. And I think Maddison got in a few good positions and kind of didn't do anything with it. So I'm going to credit for him for trying to go for the game, because there's a lot of games where he'll leave the substitutions left. But because Spurs don't really have quality, you didn't really see much. Richarlison comes on and didn't do much. He was trying to do the shithousery, but it wasn't really the time to do it. You're behind, do things a bit quicker. But I will give Ange for making them subs a bit earlier. I know the bar's very low, but I'm gonna.
You know what's crazy, Roms? Yeah, only 3 teams have lost more games in the Premier League this season than Spurs.
Only 3.
That's the bottom 3. No team in the Premier League has lost more games.
They don't draw games, do they?
No, they don't draw games. They either win or lose. No team has lost more games than Spurs, other than the bottom 3 teams in the relegation zone.
They haven't had a 0-0 in like over 100 games or something, commentators said yesterday.
Crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Bro, it's fucking insane.
The only thing, Roms, with them subs, is that when he took off, was it Basuma probably? He just left that 18-year-old Bergvall in the midfield on his own. And I was like, that is harsh.
I think, by the way, that Bergvall, no, maybe he didn't quite show it yesterday. I think he might be a player, you know.
Yeah,
he's a player.
He's only
a
18.
I know he lost the ball a couple of times yesterday, but he was on his own completely. I think if you put him into a decent team, I think he might be a player.
But do you know what, man? Like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because let's be honest, right? I'm trying to look at it objectively here. If Ange leaves Basuma and Sarr on, which both were having a poor game, by the way, Spurs fans then go, exactly. That's what I mean. Their squad is just not good. But Spurs fans then go, he didn't go for the game. Maddison was on the bench. Johnson was on the bench. But then if he leaves them on, yeah, they'll say he didn't go for the game. He brings them on. It's that they're just bad. But
does he have to make like they're not good enough? I don't think. I just wonder whether he has to go with 2 changes there. I think maybe go with one. Yeah. See how if it's not doing enough, then go with the 2. But maybe just leave Bergvall and like Basuma or Sarr just sat a little bit, and then allow Maddison to come on and just start linking up the midfield and the attack. But I don't know.
You know what's crazy?
Ange is on a thin line. I feel like he's not got long left.
You know, Arsenal came out of the blocks really strong yesterday. And just for a brief second, I thought, hold on, has Ange done some tactics here? Because Spurs were sitting back for the first 15, 20 minutes. I thought, is he doing something here? Are we going to see that change finally? No.
The fact that you put Ange and tactics in the same sentence was enough to know that wasn't the truth. Let me ask you a question before we move on. We move on to Liverpool before we end the show, because I don't want to speak about Liverpool. Do you think that if they didn't have that 1-0 lead against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final, that he'd be getting sacked?
Yeah.
Because they are diabolical.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep him until the end of the season, bro. I really do. And they'll just get rid of him.
See where he finishes.
Yeah. I think they will. I don't know who else they get them. They've tried everything, Tottenham, and failed at every hurdle, haven't they? They've got Conte that's failed, Mourinho, Nuno, Poch. They've tried project managers, win now managers, CV managers, and now they've got Ange, who's just who we are, mate. And they
better go for Sean Dyche and hope for the best.
Honestly, man.
You know, I've got George telling me, right? Watch out for February. We're gonna come and beat, and it's that. LB makes a good point though. The pressure's more a bit on us actually to win that second time, but I think we will take care of business. But I got George saying we're gonna be there, and it's like
they do this so wrong. They do this every time. They do this. I'll say this to LB and all the guys. I'll say it again. When it comes to playing them, combined 11s come out. Romero's better than Saliba, and Gabriel's rubbish in comparison to Van de Ven. And I have to go through the same conversation about telling them their players aren't that very good. And they get really, really rattled. And then we thrash them all the time. And then they come home crying. And then they just shut up until they play us again. And then they'll start getting combined 11s out again. Right, Vicario's in instead of Raya. Who we put it at the back? I'm just sick of it. I think I'll do it. Put who you want in the team. We'll still beat you because you're rubbish. You're absolutely rubbish.
Back to your question, I said Andrew be gone by Christmas, and he's not gone. So now I'm with Potts. He's probably just going to get till the end of the season, because I thought he would have been on the chopping on board already. But I do believe with Spurs, man's gone blank now. Yeah, that's it.
Feel like Spurs.
It was a stupid question, but I was like to my boy, wait, have Spurs got double digits lost in the league? He said they've not even hit double, they've gone above. Apparently they've got 11 or 12 league
11,
losses.
11.
11
Already.
losses. Yeah.
That is crazy. That is
Like I
actually
say,
insane.
only the teams in the relegation zone have more losses than Spurs this year. That's it.
How many wins do they have?
They have 7. It's not even like they've won a lot. They won 7.
Their
It's the
goal
same as
difference. Their goal difference is like plus 11, isn't it, or something?
Yeah,
It's
plus 11.
hilarious. Everyone else is like minus 20, minus 15, and then Spurs are just this sore thumb in this relegation battle with plus 11 on their goal difference. Could they go
scored
down, boys?
43
They go down.
goals.
Yeah. How many goals? 43.
43, yeah. Could they go
That's okay.
down? I doubt it. They're probably like to
Nah.
have that goal difference. That shows that they've got something about them.
Yeah. They're
You know
8
what?
points above Wolves, so it's not going to happen.
The
Plus,
only
on mad
positive-
superior goal difference.
Only positive you can say about Spurs is not just that it's not that they even just score every game. They score like average 2 or 3 a game, but then it just gets nullified by them going the other way. But yeah, they score quite a bit. That's one thing they don't have a problem doing. Regardless of the personnel, they score goals. That is one thing I
Yeah.
will say.
Yeah, no, it's true. All right, well, let's move on to Liverpool, man. Before we wrap up, LB in the chat says I can really see Liverpool doing a bottle job. Roms, are you guys going to fumble this?
Nah, I don't believe we will. Honestly, I just think I predicted right a week before. I said Forest will be the game we draw, and I think we'll go on a nice little winning run. People are saying, "Oh, Brentford away is tough." Yeah, they are tough. Bournemouth away is tough. Yeah, both of them are tough. But I just think quality for quality, I just think we're superior to them, and I just think we'll get ugly wins in a title race. You don't need to get a pretty emphatic 3-4-0 win. I suppose maybe if you've been playing bad, your fans want to see that. But I can see us getting 1-0 or 2-1 wins in both them away games. We've got Ipswich at home, which should be a banker. Everton away again will be tough. But I think we go on a nice little run now. And again, unless I see Arsenal sign forward, if Arsenal sign 1 or 2 forwards and they're within 3-4 points, I think it goes down to the wire. I still back my club to win the league. I'm not changing my stance on that. But I think it really goes down to the wire. And this is what I said to you, LB, last week. You said, yeah, Liverpool win the league by 12 or 10 points. I told you it wouldn't be that. We'll probably in the 2 or 3 point margin, but I still think we win the league. I've got more than enough confidence in my side. At the moment, the majority of our side is healthy. I think the only Konate is not 100% fit, but I don't think we have any absentees off the top of my head. And I think Jota coming in, look, Jota's my favorite forward, right? But I think it shows why I think if he's fit, we win this league, because he just needs half a chance. Honestly, just needs a half chance. And you know what was so annoying? And I think from a Forest point of view, you don't have been very good at defending set pieces. So the fact that was the only goal you conceded must have been annoying. But that's what Jota does. And I've been arguing with a lot of my fan base content creators on he should start. But I think I've come to acceptance that maybe he shouldn't. As much as I think he's our most clinical and give him half a chance he scores, I would even say he's probably more clinical than Salah. And I know that opinion is like, oh my God, how can he say that? Look at how Salah gets. But you see what I mean? I think in terms of a natural finisher, whether it's in the air, left foot, right foot, I think Jota beats Salah to that. But Salah gets higher volumes of chances. He starts more games. So I don't think it's a crazy opinion. But I think the balance with Diaz false 9, Gakpo on the left, which has been amazing this season, and Salah on the right, I think right now, that's our strongest. That's not to say Jota can't work his way back into the starting lineup, but I think there's a nice balance there. But I didn't really understand Diaz false 9 against Forest, though, because normally false 9, you want to bring your defenders out. Milinkovic and Moreno said, we're not chasing you. You can drop into the middle.
He dropped so deep, didn't he?
Yeah, they just dropped back. But to answer your question, LB, I don't think we'll crumble. We will drop points, though. Like, we will drop points. I'm not going to say we're going to go on a win every game to the end of the season. That would be crazy. But I just think we'll drop points. But so will Arsenal. So will the Chelsea's. City did again. I remember you saying, LB, this Brentford game will show me where my team's at. And then you drop points in the last minute. I just think because we've got that buffer, we're going to drop points, but everyone else will. And by default, we're Premier League champions. To be fair, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I put my neck on the line. I think we're better than everyone else, and I think we still get this league wrapped.
No, that's exactly what I said, and got fucking clipped up by fucking that no context by TV. I just think we're better than everybody. I sat there on Saeed's show at the start of the season on his day. I just think we're better than everybody else. I'm not being arrogant. I just think we're better than everybody else. Then we fucking go on a fucking 15-match shit run streak, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's pain.
Nothing
man.
wrong with showing chest, mate. I
There's
mean, you
nothing
were
wrong with
better
showing
than
chest.
everyone else. That's facts.
That is true. You know what it is for me when it comes to Liverpool, Roms? Yeah, I look at your next 4 games, right? Brentford, Ipswich, league only. Brentford, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Everton, and Wolves, right? And obviously, Everton is a little weird because it's a derby, right? But I think you need to be taking maximum points in those games. I don't think there's any
100%.
excuse other than maybe the derby. You know what I mean? Because it's a derby game. Other than that, they've got to get maximum points. And I think if you win all those games, Arsenal in the same period play Villa and City.
Yeah.
And I think if Arsenal then drop points in either of those games, they also play Wolves. If Arsenal drop points in either of those games and you do what you should do and handle your business, I think the league will be done by that point. I think the league could be decided in these next 4 games because I don't see Arsenal beating Villa and City, and Liverpool should be winning the next 4 games, which means the gap will open up again. And at that point, I don't think there'll be enough games left.
I think you'll win. I think you'll win by 4 or 5 points, man. I think it'll be like
Same.
4 or 5 points. That's what I think.
I'll go one better. I think we win our next 5. If I'm being honest, the next time I think we drop points in the league, we've got you after them 5 games.
Yeah,
at the
correct.
Etihad. Now,
Correct.
say what you want, LB. You might do this gimmick of we're bad, but
We're bad,
there's
bro.
a reason.
Have chest,
There's a
bro.
reason we've not beat you. We've not beat you since 2016. There's a reason. I don't know what it is about the Etihad. We just have a mental block when we go to your ground. But I think if we win our next 5, I like to win every game. But I feel if that's a team we drop points to, then we might afford to. I don't want to, obviously, but I think we might afford to. Because like you say, Arsenal play Villa this weekend and they play you. I know they're both home games, but I think, look, Spurs, we know they've got bad quality, right? But Villa and City have better attacks than Spurs. And I think if Arsenal play how they did, because I agree with Potts, Arsenal played well, but they play like that against Villa and City that have better attacks, I think they can nick points of Arsenal at the Emirates. So I'm still confident my team win this, man. It won't be easy, though. There's some fans that say, yeah, we'll win this at a canter. This is where you have to be a bit humble because we will drop points. Even Dan's lot, I know Dan, you're down in the dumps at the moment, but Stamford Bridge is no easy game. And that's our second to last. I think third. I think Arsenal's our third to last, and Chelsea actually might be our fourth. Our last 2 games are on Brighton and Palace, actually. But
Yeah.
Arsenal and Chelsea are
You got Chelsea away, then Arsenal
Then
at
Arsenal.
home, Brighton
Yeah,
away,
Yeah,
Palace at
you
home.
have a bit of a tough running, don't you, Roms? You got Spurs at home, which who knows what's going to happen there. Probably
Given.
win. Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, and Palace. So that's not an easy run in that. So long as
You know,
Arsenal can
LB, they
stay
could have
within
wrapped
4.
it by then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's what
And
I'm saying. I think Liverpool need to get into a position where they're probably more than 5 or 6 points clear of Arsenal or whoever's second by the time they get to that Spurs game. Because for me, yeah, if I was a City fan, I'd be looking at them and say City were like in a race, like just behind Liverpool. Yeah, I'd look at them fixtures and say, all right, get me within 3 or 4 points of Liverpool before that Tottenham game, and we'll win it. Do you know what I mean? So I think Liverpool need to try and open up a 5-6 point gap, maybe 7 before that Tottenham game. Because listen, they could easily lose a game. You could walk out of the pitch and you get a man sent off, dodgy refereeing decision. So Liverpool have to try and open up that gap to account for any potential random events.
I think if you look at that Arsenal and Chelsea game back to back, if we take 4 points, I think that's enough because I back us against anyone at Anfield. Obviously, Wolfie's team had other ideas, but I back us against anyone. So I think there's a reason why Arsenal haven't beat us at Anfield in 12 years. Obviously, they're capable of it. But again, how I was speaking about the Etihad, LB, they've got a mental block when they come Anfield, going 2-0 up, going 1-0 up, and they always kind of capitulate, right? So I back us to beat them. It's Chelsea. I just think if we can just get 4 points out of them 6 games, because I think Palace and Brighton, they're our last 2, they would have met their objectives. Let's be honest, Palace just kind of want to survive. I don't think they're good enough to break into the top 8 for Europe yet. So they'll kind of be on the beach. Brighton, you never really know. If they're contesting for Europe, then it'll be tough. Going to the Amex is always tough. But I think the last 2 games we should be all right. It's the Chelsea and Arsenal game. We need to be getting minimum 4
Things
out of
could
6
be
points.
really different by then, though, Roms. Like, imagine we're coming to you and we've fallen off by then. Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean?
True.
That's the thing. Like, or we could be ahead of you. God knows what. I think whatever we go to Anfield and try and stink it out like we have at the Etihad the last couple. That's what I think he'll do. I think he'll be the usual Arteta. Let's be negative, play Stoke FC, and try and take a 0-0 or a 1-1. That's what I think he'll do. So,
Do you know what's crazy as well, though, with both our clubs? I think by then we will probably both still be in the Champions League, which could have a big bearing as well. You can have a tricky tie in that running. You might have to rest a few players. That's when you go, what do I prioritize, the league or the Champions League? And I always
let me ask you, Roms, what would you rather win? You'd rather win the Premier League, right?
100%. I've only seen one, and
I'd rather win the Champions League. So we'll let you win the league. Let us win the Champions League, innit?
Boys,
You know,
I am still here, boys. I am still here, right? I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
You know when people talk about prioritizing shit, yeah. For me, prioritize your next game. And that's easy to say, right? But like, how many times we see these people say, "Oh, prioritize this," and then you lose this, and then you lose the game after anyway. It's like, well, you should have just fucking prioritized the first game. I always say this, yeah. Momentum is the most powerful thing in football. Look at Newcastle now. Yeah, they're not stopping. They're just winning. Why? Momentum. Every time they go on that football pitch, they ain't losing a fucking game, mate. Yeah. Prioritize the next game. Win. You remember City's bad run? Where did it start? It started at Spurs when we rotated our team. We were winning games before that. And we went to Spurs in the Carabao Cup. Pep was like, yeah, fuck it. Rotated the team. No Haaland. No KDB. Rotated. A couple of academy players in. Lost. Bang. Momentum's gone. We start losing a fucking load of games. Honestly, man, I think that like you're playing a mad risky game when you start saying, oh, we're going to rotate shit, you know? You should just keep winning games.
Bro, I get that. But for example, right, we're top of the Champions League, and I think we've officially qualified for the top 8. So I'll probably make 5 or 6 changes in our lot. I think we got Lille, and then we've got PSV away, right? I know what you mean about not just prioritize your next game, but none of us want injuries to our players. But if you had to pick a game where your players get injured, you'd rather it be in a meaningful game than a dead rubber game. And our next 2 Champions League games, I would want to see wholesale changes. But I know what you mean. If we then lose that, though, it kind of brings the morale down. You've lost the game. I get what you're saying, but you kind of have to. Look, we've seen in our title races, Liverpool and City, right? Klopp, everyone has this notion that Klopp always prioritized the domestic cups. He only did in his latter years. The early years, we used to bin them up. We'll be getting knocked out 3rd round of FA Cups. We wouldn't really make the Carabao to the latter stages, but because we were going for Champions League and Prem, getting to 2 back-to-back finals, going to the last day, losing it within a point, we would kind of been off the cups. And I think Klopp started to realize, for my legacy, let me start taking these seriously because these are cups we can win. And that's why we dunked on Dan's team 2-3 times and started to pick up some cups. But yeah, I understand the prioritizing. I know what you mean about prioritizing LB, but I just don't want silly injuries in games that we didn't really need to play these players in because we've topped the Champions League group.
Yeah, but Rams, I think LB's bang on because I think if you had beaten Spurs in the cup and you had beaten Man U and you'd come to the City ground with your form like that, I think you may have beaten us or stood a better chance of beating us. That momentum would have seen you through. You know what I'm saying? So I think LB's bang on about that. Yeah, I get what you're saying with Leo. Just rotate a little, but you still want to finish top of the Champions League to get the better draw. Towards the bottom of the ones that qualify. I just want to ask one question on Liverpool. Do you want to see a new left back in this window?
100%.
Because Robertson looks done for me, man.
Do you know what it is, Wolfie? Right, I've been cooked because I said I don't want to sell Robbo because I still think that experience, that leadership, he can be good as a second left back. But the problem we got is with Tsimikas and Robbo, they're both at this stage in their career, they both should just be the backup, but you can't have 2 backups at the same time. So one has to leave, and then you start to look at a bit of youth. Simi probably has more to give because Robbo's best attribute in his career has been his energy. Now that's taken its toll, everything else has kind of come down with it. But we need a left back in this window. But Wolf, the things with my owners, we have this remit where it's 1 out, 1 in. So unless we actually sell some, and to be fair, we've got a few players we may sell. Harvey Elliott, and I know you lot might not buy into this, but there is actually a good. I don't think he will. I think we'll sell him in the summer because slot just doesn't favour him. But I'm hearing a lot of reports. If we get, I think, a bid of 35 million and upwards for him, we'll sell him this window. Ben Doak, I was a bit fuming that we rejected this, but we got 15-20 million offered and we rejected. Because the only reason I was annoyed because I can't see him having a future. I think he's a good player, but sometimes you have to accept. Some players just won't have a future at your club. They might have go on to have a good future at other clubs. But I think, Wolfie, if we sell this window, I think we then go in for a left back. I think that is actually the position we go in for. we got 70 million offered for us for Darwin Núñez the other day, which is more than what we
I can't
paid for
believe you
him.
rejected that, bro. I cannot
And,
believe
it
That's
was
got to be
crazy.
fake news, bro. I don't believe that for a second, me.
Do you
that's
know why I
just-
do
if it's
believe
true,
it,
it's
LB?
pure arrogance, man. That they
Do you
didn't
know why I
accept.
do believe it? Because I feel like Slot wants as much forwards as he can possibly get going into the title running. I think he wants his squad as bolstered as possible. And I think he knows if we were to, this is the problem with our owners, and this is why a lot of us Liverpool fans are just fuming with them all the time. Because if we was to sell Núñez,
breaking it. Salah going to. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, Salah and Al Hill is breaking news on Sky Sports. They're going back in for Salah. Literally,
is
just
that-
broke on my phone.
Is that legit?
It's just come up Sky Sports news on my phone at 1:15.
Yeah, Al Hilal are ready to offer Mohamed Salah a lucrative contract if he wants to leave Europe and play in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah,
have
the
you
Saudi
not seen as
champions
well, the
looking
head
for a
of
replacement for Neymar. Damn.
the head of sports, Turkey, his Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh. He's more influential in boxing, but he oversees the sports in Saudi. He posted Salah, I think yesterday or the day before, on his Facebook account with an Al Hilal shirt. So they're saying from that side of the world that apparently it's done. But the thing is, though, agents will push this stuff out to try and get a new deal, but it's not. It's not.
Hey, you best not fumble the Premier League, bro, because you ain't winning it next year. That's for sure.
Oh, I hate this.
It's gonna happen, isn't it? I mean, he is the Arabs'
Oh.
pin-up boy. Yeah, I see it every time I go to the Arab countries. Muhammad Salah, especially in Egypt, and what have you.
Do you know what, Wolfie? That deal will still be there in 2-3 years' time. Like, he doesn't need to make that.
I get you, bro. I get you, but they're gonna pay him stupid,
Some,
man.
yeah,
Forget
yeah.
Ronaldo. Ronaldo's obviously achieved more in the game for me, but because Salah is Arab, yeah, that's key. That's key. That's pure
Do you know what I
PR.
would say? The same source though broke in summer 2023 that he had signed with a Saudi club. That's what I will say. So that's why I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. But if he goes,
But wasn't he
I
under
don't know.
contract then, Rums? There's a big difference, wasn't there? If I remember rightly, was he still under
True.
contract?
Yeah, he was
Not.
under contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a few years left.
Different.
The
let
rebuild
Rams
starts
have
next
this,
season,
man.
yeah, Roms.
He was so happy before, and then he's seen this news, and now he's got.
Yeah, imagine you have to do that, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. We should have wrapped up the show 5 minutes ago,
Reel you
man.
back in.
My bad, isn't it? Let me have some of these chats, man. A bit of Tim says Hussam thinks they're cooked because he's seen this before. Says it. Like I say, for me, if they drop points in the next 4 games, then I'd start to be worried if I was a Liverpool fan, yeah. Because especially if Arsenal are winning their game, but no, I don't see it at this moment in time. A bit to Glorious as well says anyone on the panel seen that KDB cross brought tears to my eyes. Yeah. He was class, by the way. He was. He looked like fully fit, looked like he was just normal KDB, which bit scary. Our 33-year-old with half a hamstring is still miles our best player, but that's the situation. Yeah, it's pretty mad. Big up to you, bro. Yeah, let's see what happens with KDB. If he can stay fit, man, we'll get top 4 easy if he stays fit. But it's just about
quickly. Is
fit,
this
bro.
Sesko? Big up Billy in the chat, but is this Sesko news true?
Yeah,
I
I can see Hooks is all getting excited on Twitter.
I don't know if it is.
Arsenal are in talks with Leipzig for Sesko. Sold. Arsenal want a loan with an option to buy. Leipzig want more money up front or an obligation. Arteta has spoken to Sesko on more than one occasion.
Yeah, it's this Sam C guy. Big up Glorious, bro. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, it's this Sam C guy. He works for Goldbridge, innit? And he's like one of these like in the know guys. So
he's quite accurate, because he broke the Ten Hag stuff.
Yeah, but why would he know about Arsenal? You'd understand on United.
Yeah, true. Why would he know about
Arsenal?
True. But Arsenal have been linked with him in the past, isn't it, Sesko? I'll be real with you, yeah. I'm not even capping. Chat, back me up on this one. We played these last year. Openda was well better than him.
They've just signed a striker as well, so they're in a position to let him go. They signed Okafor from Milan.
Oh,
from Milan, yeah. He's injured though, isn't he? I think
he might be, but they're in a position where like he could finally move. I guess Sesko.
Bro, I'm being serious. Yeah, that Openda was well better than
I think he probably is at this moment in time. I think Sesko might have the potential to be more suited to the Prem. I don't know. He's a confident striker though. I think Sesko. Like he started off the season like he barely scored, and then all of a sudden I think he scored like 4 or 5 games
they're
in a row.
saying he failed the medical, Dan. They're saying the deal fell through.
Oh really?
For who? Sorry.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Sesko.
Okafor.
No, for
okay.
Okafor,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Potts, would you take Sesko then? I mean, obviously he's better than Havertz. Like the bar's low, I get it, but is he the one?
Well, I've got to be real. I don't even know if he is better than Havertz from what I've seen, bro. I've got to be real. I don't think it takes us to the next level. I don't think it takes us across the line. I want Isak's a number one, not going to happen. I want Victor Gyökeres in this window. Vlahovic is one that I keep hearing because Colomboani's gone to Juventus. They're looking to potentially sell Vlahovic. I think Sesko's got more potential than Vlahovic. He's raw. He's like 2021, but I believe Sesko is the one we want. Yeah, I think Arteta wants Zubimendi, Sesko, and Nico Williams in the summer or now. That's what I think he wants. So,
do you know what I would say about Vlahovic, right? Because I remember we were linked to him in the same summer. Before we got Nunes. One thing I'd say of him, he doesn't take well to criticism, and when the chips are down, like he downs tools, like he can't fight through adversity. I don't know if he's the best. I know he's better than what you have, but I don't know if he'll be the best signing for Arsenal, honestly.
Also, why are they saying here that Arsenal want a loan Sesko with a buy option? Why on earth? Why would they're not going to accept that? They're not going to accept
Shall I be
that,
honest with you, boys? With Arsenal stuff right now, I feel it's a bit of PR spin.
Yeah.
Because of the recent form, the losses, and what have you. And now the fact that this is all being triggered because Jesus has got injured, for me tells me there was no plan beforehand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's just a knee-jerk reaction because Jesus is out. And I don't like that. It stinks to me too much. I said this the other day on the stream. It smells too much of Man United, where I remember they would lose some game or something, and then the next day they'd be linked with a player, so the PR would spin away from that loss and people would get that hopium again. And I'm starting to see signs of that with Arsenal. It's like, why have these players not come in early doors? The issue with your attack has been there for the last couple of weeks at the very least. The window's been open for a couple of weeks. Jesus has been the trigger. Therefore, has there been a plan?
Do you know what, Wolfie? I can speak for Potts' owners and my owners. The problem with Liverpool and Arsenal in recent years, we're just reactive instead of proactive. We'll wait till something bad happens to act on it, and it's not. We don't operate like big clubs. It's annoying.
And you're not taking the lessons from Man City, where Man City have let that squad age, and then suddenly look at them now. They've reacted quickly.
Exactly.
I'm sure LB would have preferred that to have happened in the summer, but at least they've reacted.
Yeah, this is what I said to this is what I said to Potsy though. Is just like, obviously you're in a title race, right? And like, I believe that if my club was in Potsy's position with my owners and shit, we would go out and sign players to push us further forward to try and to win that. And when I look at Arsenal, I'm like, they do this all the fucking time. They did it 2 years ago when they was leading in the title race for the first time, and their Edu came out, or whoever, someone came out and went, "Oh, we're not in a title race, we're in a top 4 race," even though they're like 8 points clear or whatever. And they went and signed Jorginho, Trossard, and fucking some other guy. Yeah, like instead of going big, like they just, and this is Arsenal for the last 15, 20 since this used to win shit. They're always just, they don't push that extra little bit, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when they could have got Suarez, if they would have got Suarez from Liverpool and properly paid the money, they would have won a league title because he's that good. Facts. Yeah, 2 years ago, push, go and get a couple extra players, go win the league. They didn't do it. They didn't do it in the summer. Yeah. They got Rice. It's like £100 million Rice. Right? Well, where's everybody else? Rice isn't going to come in and win you the league. You need more. This summer, everyone said, go and get a proper Saka backup. They got Sterling as a sort of last-minute deal, which they didn't want. Everyone said, go and get a striker. Everyone said, go and get another creative midfielder. They didn't get anyone. Everyone's been saying, you need to upgrade your left winger. Martinelli's not good enough. It's not a hate, it's true. Trossard's inconsistent. They just never seem to just push that little bit extra, get the cash out and go, right, go and get in these 3 players, bang, 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 and we're doing it. And
I don't know why I don't know why that is, but I have to agree with everything you've said, and it comes down to the ownership, I think, because what is the common denominator since the Suarez days? Everyone else was not there. It wasn't Arteta, it wasn't like Edu, even though he's gone now. It wasn't like the board members from now, other than the old school. So it has to be the Cronkies, you know. And I've said this many times. When we went for the title against Leicester, we bought Petr Cech. That was it. No outfield players came through the door. We needed a striker, a DM, and a centre half. I don't know why Dan looks Victorian all of a sudden.
I was going to say, he's turned on a virtual camera somewhere, I think.
He's great. He's all greyed out. And then we did the same when we got with Ozil and Sanchez. We had nothing at the back and no CDM. And then when we did have Aubameyang and Lacazette, we had no defenders. Now we've got defenders. We've got no attackers. It's always a one department with the Cronkies that isn't over the line. And you're right, LB. That season when we should have got Caicedo, and I think it was Mudryk that we went for. We ended up with Trossard, Jorginho, and Kivior, and that didn't scare Man City. And I think Liverpool and Arsenal right now need to go into that market, because I know for a fact if Roms, you know, if I said, for example, we're signing XYZ, Roms might be like, "Whoa, taking
exactly." And that's what Rom said earlier on. Rom said he thinks they're going to win the league. If Arsenal sign players, then he might change his opinion.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, Rom's is chilling because he knows you're not going to sign anyone.
But do you know what, LB, as well? Like, just because we're at the top, we should still be doing the same as Arsenal. Left back, we should get a left back in, potentially another DM to rival Gravenberch, because competition breeds better performances. I still think we can add another two in this window, but our firepower will get us over the line, I reckon, if Arsenal don't sign anyone. That's that's all.
Look at Dan struggling to get out.
I haven't turned on a virtual camera, by the way, either. I have no idea why it's done that.
Do you know what's annoying as well? And I reckon all of you that would agree. I see someone in the chat saying Liverpool are broke or whatnot. What's so annoying is there's this notion we have no money. That 115 million bid for Caicedo shows me we've got money. We just don't like to spend it. We just don't like to spend it. That's
you know what it looks like? You know the Big Brother house when someone gets evicted, they like black them. That's what you look like, man. It's like you've been evicted.
Man,
I was just waiting for it to say wasted on my screen. I thought someone had me there.
Yeah, Dan, check that stream that you just started. I don't think it's right. It seems to suggest that it's finished. But sorry, Wolfie, go on, mate.
I was gonna say, Potts, with the Supermendy stuff.
Yeah.
Is he what you need? You know what I mean? It's like he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But do you need him?
So the reason I will say yes in the summer is because Partey and Jorginho are going. So we'll only have Rice and that's it. So we do need a player of that quality to come in. But we need players now, Wolfie. I don't care who we get in the summer. It doesn't bother me, whether it's Supermendy, Sesko, or both. But I actually want to know what we're doing now. And I just think it's such a PR spin. It's like, oh, Arsenal gone out of both trophies. Let's quickly hit them. We're saying we ain't got any news.
All clubs do that, though, bro. All clubs do that. That's not an Arsenal thing.
But we do it more than anyone, man. Let's be real. We are the biggest PR club. We're elite level when it comes to bringing out merch and PR spins and crap like that. I mean, even last night, like, big up for like having sympathy for your colleagues and stuff. But when you're all walking out with number 9 shirts as if Jesus has died, it's just extreme,
bro. You know, for a second, it said what did it say? Get well, Gabby, or something like that. What did he say?
Yeah, something like
bro.
that.
You know, for a second, I thought
stay
it said
strong, Gabby. I've got it.
Yeah, it said stay strong. For a second, I thought it said stay strong, baby. I was like, bro, because the fault I seen, the shirt was like creased, and I just seen like BABY, and I was just like, no fucking way if they called him baby, and then I seen the G, and I was like, oh,
it's the mentality, though, isn't it? Normally, you would see someone pull the shirt out once they've scored a goal. You know, the number 9 shirt, hold it up to the crowd. I think that's fine to do, but it's just OTT, man.
It's cringy, man. Like, what other club has done that before? Like, the guy's got an ACL. It's not like, are we doing this for Saka or are we doing this for everyone now?
Like, we did it for Gundogan back in the day.
United did it as well for Ibrahimovic.
It's all about the togetherness, man. It's all about the together.
Oh, come on, it's cringe, bro.
Fucking Lee Gunnar would have loved that.
He would have
fucking loved it.
Well, the thing is, if they're always coming out and saying it, they've got that awful training kit that we now bought out, which is like the free kits within one. We've got the one where you come on in baseball jackets now because they cost 150 quid a pop.
They're quite cool though, Potsy.
They are cool, but they have a lot of money, Dan. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's.
I get an email every week from Chelsea though, new stuff coming out. You're not the only club doing it. Like,
yeah, I think we're not the only club, but we are good at it. Do you know what I mean? We're very good at what we do. And like Judges said, he went there. There's someone sitting in the hospitality last week, right? He ordered 2 hot dogs. It comes to 50 quid. What is going on here?
50.
Yeah,
just my
joke.
God.
Sorry,
free.
Did
you say 1-5 or 5-0?
As if
that's
by the way.
Oh, 5-0.
5-0.
Yeah,
no, there must have been
they're
a few
really nice
beers,
hot dogs.
few beers included.
Nah,
Not for
bro.
free.
It was
No.
free. It was free hot
15
dogs.
quid
not
a hot
two.
dog.
Free.
Like,
Yeah, free hot dogs.
that's
Yeah.
outrageous.
It's
isn't it?
Free
fucking
hot dogs,
mad, isn't
50
it?
quid. What is happening with this world?
Because I'll
Man?
tell you what they're doing, yeah. We'll
That's
wrap up in a
crazy.
sec because Dan's going live, right? But I'll tell you what they're doing. They're making football from a thing where people go regularly, i.e., season tickets, and don't
Yeah.
spend a lot. Where people go
I don't want that.
semi-regularly, but when they go, they fucking spend $1.
Big,
So they
yeah.
make it a day out. So you know when they go to
Yeah.
cinema, yeah, you don't go. A lot of people go to cinema, they buy the ticket, then they buy the popcorn, they buy the drink, and you go, oh yeah, it's going to cost me 20, 30 quid, but I come like once a month or once. You know, it's chilling, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't
If
want
you
that.
went to the cinema every fucking like week, you're probably not going to do that. And that's what they're trying to make it where people go less frequently, but then when they go, they're
That's-
spending more
That's why
money.
they've
doing
changed
that at City,
they
though,
changed
with
our
the season
balloting
ticket
system.
thing.
That's why they've done it. They've changed our balloting system
Yeah,
so that
really.
not regularly people go. So all of a sudden you get the tourist fan who go into the shop, they buy the scarves, they buy the merch, they then go into the stadium, they think, wow, I've not had a hot dog,
Yeah,
I've not
that's what they
bought
want.
I've not bought a bottle of Prime before. Wow, let's have a bottle of Prime. That's what they do, man.
You
It's
know what,
insane.
LB? Before we wrap up, you're spot on because at the Liverpool United game, I was in the club store and I see a Chinese couple, right? And they've come back and I'll speak to them and whatnot. But they've come out with like 3 bags in each hand for both of them. So altogether there's like 12 bags. One of them are holding 6, 3 in either hand. The other one's holding 3 in either hand. And I was just speaking to them now, like, you're spot on. You hit the nail on the head with what you said, because the last time they had been Anfield was 5, 6 years ago. And they're like, because we hardly get it, we're making the most of it. And I
Catching
was
up.
I was a bit nosy and I said, how much have you spent in this club store? And he said, oh, about just over 400 quid. And I was like, what?
It's
400
but
quid?
it's like because when I go to America next year, I'm gonna go to an NFL game, right? So when I go there, I'm gonna fucking buy like the jerseys and that. I'm gonna buy some merch. I'm gonna buy the sick ticket. I'm gonna buy all the 6 food.
The foam finger, like,
Yeah, the
Yes.
phone. Like, woo, go.
I've
You know
been
what I mean?
that guy. Yeah.
I'm gonna be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Because like it'll be a one-time thing. It'll be like but like that's the way it is anyway. But listen, Dan's going live speaking about Chelsea's mad fall off. How have they gone from a title race to a potential top 4 in the space of 3 weeks is kind of crazy. So he's going to be speaking about that on his channel, guys. So I'm going to redirect you, man. We've got 1,800 people watching across Twitter and YouTube, and and the people who are on YouTube, it will redirect you automatically. So make sure you go over to Dan's channel. Shout out Dan, shout out Potsy as well. Football 12-man podcast. Make sure you guys go over there. Big up to Wolfie as well. Forest Fan TV and Roms. What are you saying, bro? You got that podcast that you said you started?
Yeah, I need to send you the link. But on Football Verbal, we dropped it's about Arteta. We dropped a video yesterday actually. So yeah, go check that out.
All right. Well, big up you guys in the chat, man. Do us a favor on the way out before you go over to Dan's stream about Chelsea and their fall off. Make sure you drop a like on it. Make sure you give us your comments in the comment section below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.